Hey everyone, Josh here with a look at another Star Wars toy. And today we are looking at a toy from Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, or this is where they made their first appearance that I'm aware of. And this is the Dewback with a Sandtrooper riding him on his back. And I'm sure most of you remember the first time I can remember these guys appearing on film was when the stormtroopers first start looking for the droids after they leave the escape pod. These guys were part of the search party looking for R2 and 3PO. And I think I'm correct, but I believe even if you watch the original version without all the extra CGI, there is one in there, but it doesn't move as much. And I think there's also one when you see Obi-Wan and Luke entering the cantina, you can see one right behind them a little bit. It's just the head of one. And they've also made appearances in other versions of Star Wars. I've seen them in the Rebel show. Actually, Obi-Wan rode one. And it's just a mode of transportation for Tatooine. And let's go ahead and take the figure off and look at him real quick. And he does grip the harness. The harness is movable on the Dewback, or the little reins here. And he has this giant pole with him, and this is how they have him holding it on the packaging. And I'm not sure if this is accurate or not, but on the package this is how he's holding it. And I'm not even really sure what this weapon is called, or if it even is a weapon. And you can see this Sandtrooper has sand all over him. That's not just a dirty figure. He's supposed to look that way. And he has a backpack and a blaster rifle, and they are removable. I'll show you guys that here in a second. And of course the shoulder pad, and this one is gray. And we'll take this long stick out of his hands. I'm not even sure what this thing is, but it's pretty big. It's probably the biggest weapon-like accessory I have. And if you look at the figure, he's got a backpack, and on his backpack you can see there's a blaster rifle, and it is removable. Now what you do is you just pull straight out, and there's a little tiny peg on the rifle, and there's a little hole in his backpack, and you just slide it in there, and his backpack holds his rifle. And the rifle does also go in his hand. I'm not sure it fits in that one because it's got the grip for... Let's try it. Let's see what happens. He doesn't have the best grip on it. Let's see if we can get it in this other hand. There we go. So there you can see him holding the rifle, and it's in there pretty good. And just pull and twist to get it out of his hand. And I'll show you guys here. This backpack does come off, and what you do is you just pull straight back, and there's a little clip on it. There, it's a little tight. And you can see there's a little clip on it, and there's a little hole in his back, and it just inserts in there. There's not much to it. It's just a big piece of plastic. And one thing that's kind of neat about this figure is a lot of the stormtroopers that came in this line only move at the hips and the shoulders, but this guy actually has knee joints because he has to ride the Dewback, so you have to put him in a position where he can sit on it. And so there's how his legs work, and he only movement on his arms are at his shoulders. You have an up and down movement, and that's it. And there's a little movement in his head and the shoulder pad that it moves, and it's flexible, and his head does move. Spins a little bit. Let's get him all put back together here. Okay, let's check out the Dewback real quick. Now this thing's pretty neat as well. All four legs do move on it. Kind of reminds me of a Komodo dragon. And you see his head has a little movement in it. And it's kind of tough because of how short and stumpy he is, but there's the leg movement. That's about all you get. And all of them do move, even the back ones, but there's not a lot of movement just because of the shape of the animal. And the tail moves. And the tail is actually a feature. I'll show you guys that in a second. There you can see he's got a saddle, and that's permanently fixed. You can't remove it. It's got buckles, but they're not real. And he does that. The reins are movable a little bit. I don't think they actually come out of his mouth. Yeah, it looks like they might. Yeah, they do. How about that? There you go. He's got removable reins. And one of the things this guy does is pretty neat, is the tail actually moves the head. So when you move the tail just a little bit, the mouth will open. And it'll do this with the reins in too. But then when you move the tail a lot, if you put a big swing in it, it actually moves the head and the mouth at the same time. But there he is. Let's see if we can get them all put back together here. So the first thing we want to do is get the reins in his mouth. And they fit in there pretty good. You got to kind of, a little notch in his mouth. Okay. So there the reins are, and we want to get his blaster rifle back on the backpack. And I apologize, guys, I'm not sure what the name of this piece is here, but his long pole. It's probably easier to put that on him when he's on the Dewback. And you can actually get the reins into the character's hands, which is pretty cool. And then finally, we will put this Alright, there he is back together. And there he is, everyone. There is your Sandtrooper on his Dewback from Episode 4, A New Hope. And thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.